Hey guys, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, and I'm back with another bullet journal video. This time, in honor of Valentine's Day, I am planning a 5 love languages spread. Now, if you're watching this video, I assume you've heard of the 5 love languages, but if you haven't, I will briefly explain the concept. So the 5 love languages come from a book by the same name by Gary Chapman, who is a counselor who's worked with many couples as well as individuals. And he's sort of an expert in relationships. And he wrote this book back in 1995. And his theory was that there are 5 universal love languages and that each person has a primary and a secondary love language. And that those 2 love languages are the ways that they both express love instinctually and the best ways for them to receive or perceive love. So the book kind of goes into detail about how he discovered the 5 love languages and a little bit more detail into each love language, as well as how the love languages can be utilized in a relationship. He definitely is focused on married couples, but he does have a chapter on how the love languages work with children, and that children, of course, also have love languages, and that you can use this information with your kids or with your parents, also with friends, siblings, basically any relationship that you want to show and receive love from somebody. So for my particular love language spread, I wanted to focus on my husband and my love languages. And I'm sure for many of you, that's where your mind goes. When you hear about the love languages, you think about your primary relationship, especially if that happens to be a romantic relationship. So I wanted to do this spread kind of in 2 parts. So the left side of the spread is just essentially a summary of each of the 5 love languages, just for me to have a little bit of a reference in my journal, so I don't have to continually go back to the book for reference or to Google it. I can just have sort of some bullet points about each one. And then the right side of the spread is specifically about Jason's love languages and my love languages, and some strategies to use this knowledge to the benefit of our relationship. For anyone who's interested, the black pen I'm using is a Sakura Micron 005. It's the thinnest tip pen they have, and it's my favorite for my bullet journal. So I'm starting here with words of affirmation, and it may be hard to read because it's a thin pen and I like to write small, so I'll just tell you guys what I'm writing here. Words of affirmation: expressing your love with sincere words and explaining the reason why. Genuine compliments and acknowledgement are appreciated. Avoid insults and criticism. Acts of service: easing the burden of responsibility from their shoulders. Sacrificing what you want to do something for them. Avoid laziness, broken commitments, and making more work for them. Quality time: spending time together, giving them your full, undivided attention. Turning off all distractions and truly listening. Avoid postponed dates, distractions, failure to listen. Giving gifts: thoughtfulness and effort put into getting the perfect gift shows them you love them. Showing them you know who they are and what they like. Avoid missing important dates and thoughtless gifts. And lastly, physical touch. Physical presence and accessibility are important. Touch fosters security and belonging in a relationship. They love nearness, hugs, kisses, hand-holding, cuddling, and sexual intimacy. Avoid neglect and abuse of any kind. So those are just some very brief summaries that I got from taking notes when I was reading the book, and also from doing a little further research online and seeing how some other people had summarized and described the love languages, because obviously this book has been around for quite a long time now, and lots of people have written their own thoughts about these love languages. Now, moving on to the right side of the page, I'm listing Jason and my results from the quiz. You can take the 5 love language quiz on Gary Chapman's website without buying the book. If you search 5 love languages quiz or love languages quiz, it's usually the first result. And when you take the quiz, it gives you a score at the end, a certain number of points for each love language, and ranks them. So I'm just writing the love languages in the order that we got them in the quiz, and also our score beside each. So how many points we got for each love language, essentially. Now what I'm doing here is adding one suggestion for each love language on my part of the spread. So for example, for words of affirmation, I wrote beside it, "Why you love me." And this is essentially a suggestion to Jason and other people who love me, ways that they can love me in each love language that mean a lot to me. So for example, receiving gifts was my last love language. It's definitely not my primary by any means, but I still like to receive gifts, and so I can still appreciate being shown love in that way. And my suggestion for receiving gifts was thoughtful gifts for special occasions. But of course, being loved in my primary love language, words of affirmation, and my secondary love language, physical touch, are more meaningful to me than the others. So in that bottom section, the love tank, which is a term that Gary Chapman uses in his book, which I think is kind of silly, but I decided to stick with it because that's what he calls it. In that area, I just wrote out a bunch of suggestions or things that my husband can do that for the most part fall into one of my 2 primary love languages that really show me he loves me, that really fill up my love tank, that make me feel loved and appreciated and just make me feel awesome. And for Jason's part of the spread, we'll do the same thing. Now, the reason I'm not inking it in and I'm leaving that section in pencil is because those were just my ideas. I kind of thought I had an idea of something he would like from each love language. I had an idea of some of the things that I could do to fill his love tank, but I want him to tell me exactly what he wants and what's important to him. And he's still in the midst of reading the book. He's not done yet. So I'm leaving it in pencil for now. And once he's done and he's thought about it for a bit and he feels ready to tell me what he would like, his requests, I'll erase my suggestions and write in what he had to say, because it's obviously about him and not about me. I hope this super quick overview made sense for you guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. I'll be glad to answer them. And of course, if you're interested, I would highly suggest reading the book. I found it very interesting. So far, it's been very helpful, and I can only see it continuing to be helpful, not only in my relationship with my husband, but my relationship with my parents, with my sister, with my friends. I think it's a useful tool to have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you knew the 5 love languages before, but you'd never thought about making a spread for it in your bullet journal, maybe you'll consider it now. If you do recreate the spread or make your own 5 love languages spread, I would absolutely love to see it. Please tag me in any pictures you share on social media of any kind. All my links are in the description box below, and I'll see you soon in my next video, which will likely be my March Plan With Me video. Till next time, bye guys.